Welcome to the TDC Today Show. My name is Sue Roscoff. The Disability Channel, or TDC, is out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, showcasing abilities. TDC is committed to providing quality digital media production services, education, and employment programs by and for persons with disabilities and veterans. TDC offers digital media production, video production, post production, social media, and podcast creation, production, and support. TDC offers education and employment programming, which includes digital media courses to persons with disabilities who are unemployed and underemployed. TDC also offers community partnerships. Through partnerships and sponsorships, community partners and organizations become ability champions by supporting media created by and for persons with disabilities. And we are your USA team. So happy to be here tonight. We have some awesome guests joining us, and I'm excited for what we all have to share tonight. And to start out, I'm going to bring in the lovely Denise Vargas to join us. So Diva, come on in and say hello and remind everybody who you are and what you all do.
Hi, so I am Denise Vargas, also known as Diva, or Denise Vargas, but always I dream every day, visualize always, and I help people do the same so that they can live the lifestyle that they've always dreamt of living. I'm super happy to be here. Boy, do we have some great topics today.
Glad to have you as always. And yes, you are the queen of dream every day, visualize always. I love that. There's so many good things that I've learned from you. And I know you had a topic in mind here for this evening. So you want to go ahead and introduce that?
Sure. But let me ask you this first.
Sure.
When you go to buy a car, for any of our amazing guests here, when you're going to go buy a car, are you looking for all the awesome bells and whistles and the type of seat that you have? Does it elevate slightly? Does it have a warming capacity? Does it adjust to your needs? Is that something like that when you're buying a car?
I sure hope it's going to fill my needs. I've got my dreams. I've got my hopes that I can find something that I can afford that has all the bells and whistles. Maybe I gotta go with some lesser bells and whistles depending on what's out there. But we all have our dream model in mind, and it's just a matter of how's that going to actually fit and what's available and how's that going to work for me.
Exactly. Because of course, we love choices in life. Now, that being said, most people, let's say that you're leasing a car or you're renting a car, right? You're able to decide, well, I want this, and next time I'm going to go and get this instead, right? Because you have the availability to kind of change your mind. So, but here's what happens when you are shopping for a new wheelchair. So those of us who are wheelchair users, and we're in maybe, in my case, I'm in a motorized chair. So I want to make sure that I get all the bells and whistles that, I want, but also that I need. And I want to make sure that I get it right the first time. Because once you order it and once you get it, that is it for at least 6 or more years. So that is something that we really want to keep in mind. And as a person with a disability, one of the things that I like having on my chair is a seat elevation, right? So that way I can elevate my chair so I can be at eye level with people, which is fun. But even more so, more importantly than being at eye level, because the person can never sit down, but more importantly than being at eye level is being able to reach for something or looking at what's in the stove or in the pot on the stove, that you can make sure that everything is the way you like it, the way you need it to be, and you don't burn anything, right? So these are all things that really help you. But if you don't know about them ahead of time and you find out about it later, oh well, yeah, SOL until your next order, which is years later.
It's amazing to me to think about that part because I know, like, okay, I don't use a wheelchair. I walk around and I'm gonna find some shoes that are comfortable, right? But I'm not expecting those shoes to be something I'm using for 6 years necessarily. I'm figuring I'll use them till I wear them out. But oh my gosh, to think about when you are getting set and fitted and everything for an actual wheelchair that you're going to be using, that you need to think about 6 years from now or more, and is this still going to fit my needs, and what is it that I'm going to need to, because I think about a good friend of mine. I remember him going through this process quite a few years ago, and that I learned a little bit from him, that just the pieces he shared, and some things that I remember he actually kind of struggled with getting permission to get some of the extra features that were actually really practical for him, but he had a hard time getting certain things approved because, oh gosh, you don't need that, do you? You don't really need that. It's like, yeah, he does. There were several different things I remember, and we can get more into that. But is that something that you ever encountered along the way?
Oh yeah, all the time. And funny that you should use the shoe analogy, because here's the other thing with the shoes. You don't use the same shoes from the moment that you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night, right? You might decide that, well, I want to go and wear my flip flops today because I'm going to go to the beach, right? Or I need to put on my sneakers because I am going to go do, some jogging or some yard work, whatever. Or maybe I'm going to go out dancing and I want to wear my nice heels, right? So, but with shoes, you can change them. With your wheels, right? Like the minute I get up, I'm in my chair all day long. It's got to be comfortable. It's got to be really to almost molded towards your body so that you can feel comfortable and move around all day long. So yeah, it's very interesting how we use all these different analogies to ultimately get to the same thing. But my wheels are my legs.
It's something that I think, until you have a reason to think about that, I never thought about it before. Like I was talking about this friend, it was one of those things that for me was really eye-opening, that like, oh my gosh, there's a lot here, there's a lot to this. And again, that whole thing of the permissions of what can you get approved, because yeah, it's not a cheap date either, is it?
No, and it's also funny that you say permission, because yeah, at the end of the day, you're asking for permission. Can I? Like you're relying on someone else to give you something that, do they even really feel that you need it? That they'll give you every reason in the world why they don't want to pay for it, right? But at the end of the day, if it's a need and it's going to make you a little bit more dependent, why not do it?
100% with you on that idea. So, well, I know we have some other friends that are joining us here tonight. I'm going to have everybody come on in, introduce yourself, and tell us who you are, what you do, and join this conversation, because I want to bring some more thoughts in on this. So first, I'd like to bring in Miss Debbie Miller to join us. So if you can come on up to the stage and remind everybody who you are. I know you've been a guest here before, and I'm so grateful to have you here.
Thank you for me. Thanks, Stephen. It's great to see you. Well, I'm with Prepaid Legal Services, so having access to affordable legal assistance and identity protection is what I'm all about. Having those attorneys that are there to support you and help fight for you when needed is a great benefit, and the fact that it's affordable to most of us here in North America is a great blessing. Besides, I have not had to deal with all of the issues that Diva has mentioned, but on the other hand, my husband does use a wheelchair, and we haven't had to go through the getting it authorized or a vehicle authorized to use it. But those are, again, things that others need, but we don't have necessarily not information that everybody has. So thanks for opening our eyes. That ripple effect that we've talked about before is you know, just a spark that starts the ripple or the little stone that helps spread the word that this is an important issue that we all need to be aware of and actually work together to make it happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Debbie. Next, I want to go ahead and bring in Mr. Alan Holmes, another friend of the show here. And if you want to come in, remind us who you are again as well. So glad to have you joining us.
Well, it's nice to be here with the Disability Channel. Thank you. Good evening, Diva, young lady, Debbie Miller, and of course, I know Christian's coming in a few minutes. But Alan, this is actually a great topic. Community essence of business, and I'm the master connector for building it. I basically specialize in connecting business owners, whether they're home-based, storefront entrepreneurs, or the everyday consumer. I call myself the human search engine or master connector. Except on Wednesdays when I support and host the MC Homes or the Mafia Connections with the incredible Kurt Raskoff and Emily Gomer. And this is actually a great topic because anybody knows me that I rarely focus on my why, which is eradicating poverty and mental health stigma, and of course, education on financial literacy. We were just probably about, 5 or 6 days past from the American Disability Act, where the Disability Act was passed in 1990, the same year that I got out of the incredible, honorably, by the way, U.S. Army 13 Bravo. And my wife suffered mental illness, so I call mental wellness. And those with developable disabilities have kind of the same, not the same, but they go through different challenges and everything with comprehending and learning. And so I have to humble myself when I get to connect and collaborate with different individuals who have a ability or something that I don't understand. And I learn as I continue to grow. I mean, when I worked at Hilton, I know we have another guest here, so I'll be brief or get to the point. When I worked there, as a hospitality, as a reservation agent, I learned that sometimes I had to make a reservation for someone who had wheelchair accessible to get into the hotel room. So I had to accommodate, and it took a little bit longer, but it was okay because it humbled me and it showed me that we can all work together collaboratively, connectively. So thank you so much for having this topic and discussion and allowing me to be a part of this incredible panel. Back to you, Ms. Sue Raskoff and the Disability Channel. Thank you so much. Alan Holmes, Master Connector.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. I do want to bring in Christian to join in this conversation. Christian, so happy to have you joining us here tonight. Can you go ahead and take a moment here, introduce yourself, and share a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again. It's wonderful being part of today's Disability Channel. Also joining the World of Ability Podcast Network and Project Die Hard, get that 22 mission down. And everybody knows, or those that don't know, unfortunate statistic is 22 veterans we are losing 22 veterans on the day-to-day basis, affected or inflicted by a suicide rate. So that is something dear and near to our heart. We love our veterans. I am not a veteran, make sure that we are very clear. I just love and have a servitude because they have served this country. They along with their families, have served. When they serve, so do the families. So it's really heart-wrenching as a family man, as a man and a husband, to know that 22 of our fellow soldiers, men and women, are committing suicide on a daily basis. So I'd like to bring more awareness, bring that rate down as we've already shouldered it, and continue to bring inspiring stories, expert advice, valuable insights. We now have the new Conversation for All starting Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, brought to you by EC Marketing for All, and along with our wonderful podcast engineer in the background, Emily Gomer. So thank you so much, and I'm here to serve.
Awesome. So glad to have you joining us here, Christian. Thanks for being here. And I see we also have Kurt joining us right now, too. So I think we'll go ahead and bring him on in to join our conversation as well. Hi, Kurt. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm here to join in and help raise the vibration, get this collective energy going to see how much we can get this spiraling around the world. I know our founder, Jay Stoyan, he is excited as ever, and he had quite a production date today, and it is getting to be very exciting each and every day. So we definitely here at the Disability Channel are going to be putting the awe and the gust into August. So here we go. Let's rip and roar, and let's make it happen. And we're excited about our trajectory, serving Prince Harry with the Invictus Games in February, and continuing our annual tradition of being at Super Bowl Row. And so February is going to culminate to be very exciting. And we want to give great recognition to our author, Marianne Ambrose, Marianne Waikiki, Marianne de Mexico, with their Acts of Kindness book series, Finger Puppets, where Sue's got them time and again in her shows, and then also app games. And so Jay is on the mission to, join into the strong promotion of 4 months here coming up here. And so we're going to be closing out the year with a lot of creativity, a lot of works, a lot of content creation, and just really building this accessible, accommodating world like most people in the world have never seen before. And it's happening right here at your channel, the Disability Channel, right here. Hopefully your favorite show, the TDC Today Show. There's no time like the present. Let's do it up, folks. Back to you, Sue.
So we started out with a conversation around the whole idea of how individuals who use motorized wheelchairs, how challenging it is, how difficult. When you think about when you are going to be getting a new chair, what do you need to think about? Because you're going to be using it for probably 6+ years. And what is it that goes into that? And I know Diva had started out with the comparison, thinking about when you're going out and buying a car, are you looking for all the bells and whistles? Are you being practical? How are you approaching it? And when I think about how much goes into that, and then realize the somewhat comparison here, I get the comparison with how you are going to go about getting all the customized pieces and all the things that go into your motorized wheelchair, but that's on a whole nother level, because you're in that chair from when you get up in the morning until you're going to bed at night. There's so much that goes into that. And one quick story I'll share. I know a good friend of ours, when I brought him up just briefly here, that when he had gone through getting the permissions and the things that he needed in place to get his chair, I remember there being kind of a thing about his chair being one that can actually allow him to stand up. There's a way to have that chair getting into that standing position. And I kind of remember there being something of an argument about, or questioning, or however you want to put it, politically correct on how that came about, where it's like you can't stand up on your own. Why are you going about this where you want your chair to be able to stand up? And there's so many reasons for it. Being able to be eye to eye with somebody, being able to stretch your muscles. Just because he can't physically stand himself doesn't mean that's not doing him a world of good to be able to have that motion, to be able to do that functionally. There are so many reasons why that was a good choice, and grateful that was something that was able to be put in place for him. So I'm going to pass this over to Kurt. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you bring up about the therapeutic properties of, a hydraulic chair and to be able to be lifted, we connected into a lot of this, Sue, through, adaptive water skiing. And, as EMTs, we learned about hydrostatic blood pressure, right? Like when we're EMTs and we're using our blood pressure cuff, we can take a blood pressure of somebody who's laying down, and then we let them go ahead and sit up, and then we take another blood pressure, and we get a sense of how well their body is recovering from body movement. And so even though somebody is experiencing paraplegia, quadriplegia, and, having, this natural immobility, to be able to have these fashions and functions and formats and to have this therapeutic activity is huge, because when you look at what is contained within our skin, within our body, and then to say, oh, well, because, you have paralysis, we're just going to say, like, that's the way you need to be 24/7. Wrong answer, folks. So yes, I'm glad you bring up that point, because that's a huge misnomer. And we got to make sure our government workers and our agencies and those making decisions understand this. Otherwise, we're going to have denials. That just is the wrong way to go. All right, Christian, over to you. What do you got, brother?
Oh, you're on mute,
Christian, you've got a mute button on, brother. You're saying a lot of great things, but it's still being worked.
All right, so chime in here is we got some newsworthy tips from the American Airlines. Now, we're not sponsored by them yet, but we're more than happy to if you guys want to come in and chime in. American Airlines becomes first U.S. airline to launch automated tag for mobility devices. That's of July 23rd. So they're paying attention. They've launched an automated tag for mobility services as part of ongoing commitment to improve wheelchair and mobility device handling across its network. So I definitely feel like I'm teaming up with those organizations, and hashtag American Airlines. We'll be more than happy to have you guys as sponsors and to continue that fight with us here. And then the additional one is from also June 2024. Transforming wheelchair mobility with a brain-machine interface. And you were just mentioning in regards to sometimes the paralysis, partial or not. This is a Tunisian team selected as a finalist for the Young Inventors Prize 2024. And it really speaks about the Move-O brain system, which controls wheelchairs using brain signals, voice, facial expressions, or a touchpad. That's what I get excited about, technology making advances that can really help. And I never even thought about it. I've trained in different capacities, but I've not even considered what a person that sits and lives really in a wheelchair has to endure, and the capacities and so much that goes into it. So thank you for sharing that, Diva, with us, and from you guys bringing it as more of an awareness, because we definitely need to focus on that. So finalizing, this is from Munich, June 4th. The Tunisian team will compete against the Dutch finalists. So definitely keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes open, and those that want to jump in there and create some more technology to support that, we'll be more than happy to have you on and support it and explore that.
Excellent. Diva, I want to pass it back to you.
Yeah, and not that I want to really get too political here, but we are getting ready to vote. Things are happening now in the political world. I am not a political person by any means, actually, but in order for us to get all the things that we need, because these are real needs. It's not like, oh, I just want this because it's kind of cool, right? Yeah, I mean, there are some things I want in life because it's kind of cool, but there are things that we need because we really need it, right? It's going to make us more independent. It's going to make us more mobile. It's going to make us healthier at the end of the day, because the more mobile that we are, the less health problems we're going to have along the way as we age. Because I've always said that everyone will age into disability. Everyone. Because we're all going to need help eventually in life. So that being said, remember that this is the year that we really, really need to have our voices heard. And for those of us who have disabilities, go out there, go boy, have your voice heard. And for those of you here who are our allies, please also go out and vote. Hear our voices, hear our needs, and in that way you will be more informed as to what we all need to help each other.
Awesome. I think, and that is a perfect note to end on here. But I know, Kurt, you got something for us quick before we close up shop for the night.
Yeah, one thing that I want to make a part of the business here, the Disability Channel, and in show business podcasting, I want to all rally together and let's give attention to the Paralympics like the world has never seen before. Right now, we're enjoying the Olympics, the able-bodied format of the Olympics, that great history with that. But at the same time, I want to couple it with to make sure everybody who's enjoying the Olympics and those still learning about the Olympics maybe to also know about the Paralympics going on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 through Sunday, September 8th. And if you have never followed the Paralympics, please accept this invitation to do so for 2024. And let's join together as the TDC Today Show community and the Disability Channel community and all the other outlets we're partnered and teamed up with. And let's really get these 8 billion people on the planet awake and knowing how life works on Earth for people with disabilities. Back to you, Sue.
Awesome. I cannot thank you guys enough. Debbie, Christian, Alan, Kurt, Diva, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here tonight. For all of us here with the TDC Today Show, we thank you.
I